Well, howdy, I am Arthur Morris, Birds is Art, and I'm here with Eugen Dolan, who's staring at you in the first frame. He's sitting to my left, and to my right is Michel Voisin. Voisin, good enough. He's here for a week. He's been a few days. So Eugen has been here for 27 days. Tomorrow is his last morning. And he's done some remarkable work with only his Sony A1 II and his 200 to 600. There might be an image or two here created with a 70 to 200. I don't think he used much other than that. So we're going to get started. So this one, I was standing next to Eugen. Snow Egret had a fish, and I was making excuses why not to shoot. And Eugen got a really nice picture. And there's the image optimization. So when it's cloudy, the whites are going to be a bit blue, so we warm it up a bit and we get rid of some of the crud. And I love the placement of the wave not intersecting the bird. Eugen has a common disease. He is a retired neurosurgeon. He was actually Anita North's teacher a few years back, and now they both love doing photography. But the disease he has is middle-itis, putting the bird in the middle of the frame. So here I would want him to just get focus and point the lens to the left. The spectacular part is the snow egret's yellow slippers against the black rock. Here's one. We've had a bunch of cases where the birds are fishing, and if you can see the crop marks here, the marching ants is what I was due with the picture. And you'll see in a few minutes that we're teaching everyone to expose to the right. And here's a nice one taking off. And when I process this, I would do something like that to give the bird room in the frame. And this one would have to go to a square. So we kid around. I'm doing bird photography for 43 years. And we kid around by saying, universal advice for better flight photography, pan faster. And I do the same exact thing. This is one we put in the blog early morning, and with a crop and some added canvas above. We came up with that, quite beautiful. Notice the head angle. The bird's got his head turned slightly back towards us. And I love the cross-footed pose here, the legs crossed. And I go to a tight square. And you'll see some amazing crops in terms of the A1 Mark II or the A1. They're 51 megapixels. So here's a reddish egret backlit in the morning. We have lots of opportunities like that. And the image optimization juices it up, and the raised foot is a big plus. Then Eugen ventured out into the water with me. I think this might be the 302/8, I'm not sure. And all the osprey photographers ignored this bird. We went out, he was perched on a rock. And Eugen had trouble getting his vertical square to the world. And he came up with this one, which was rather interesting. A lot of people that I've showed it to liked it, even though it doesn't make sense. But I like it. So do all the folks. This one is not optimal. I should have mentioned all the ones in Photomechanic with the red mark down at the bottom right have been optimized. This one has not, but staring down the lens barrel is a beautiful look. And this one will make into a skinny vertical. Now, amazingly, Eugen made this with the Sony 200 to 600 and the 1.4x teleconverter. So I would never think to do flight with that, and he came up with this, and when he came up with this, I came up with this. So the horizon line's a little bit of bad luck, but stunningly sharp with a nice finger mullet in its bill and flying towards us. The park was closed one afternoon, and Eugen and I took a 2-mile walk down the beach. Cloudy afternoon, we worked some ibises, and on the way back we had a beautiful juvenile osprey fly by, And we both got some fine images. This is with the 200 to 600 for sure. There's the ibises, and there's the crop. Eugen got the shot, I did not. Never processed this one. It's worth it. I try to encourage the students, especially those using Sony, but all the mirrorless is great now. When the bird gets really close to you in flight, keep shooting. The autofocus is so amazing. So I don't like the bird in the background. I envision this crop to a square, and we get rid of this bird without too much difficulty. This one, almost surely, let's see. Yeah, 70 to 200 alone. And using shutter priority, we're teaching them to do blurs, and then level the horizon and crop and come up with a beautiful reddish egret seascape. Oh man, I wish that one were mine. Really, really sweet. And this one will make into a black and gold silhouette. I think you'll see some of them coming up. This is just a beautiful portrait. Original frame, beautiful composition, wave at the top. And we'll get rid of the a little too yellow for my taste. And Eugen named this bird
Ozzy.
Ozzy. He sits in the same place every day. So he got out of the car, using the car, working from behind the car, and came up with this one. Maybe I got rid of a few too many of the little branch nubs, but I like it. He sits there most days. Doing more blurs. This is actually, the next frame is a combination of this frame and another. Maybe a little too juiced up, but it makes me smile. Here's another one. Beautiful composition. Bird well back in the frame on the left, pointing to the right, raised foot, little cleanup. Get rid of a little of the blue, and this will be a stunning image. This afternoon, getting ready for this YouTube video, I optimized 5 more pictures. You'll see a bunch of them as we go. Actually, one was the reddish egret ocean blur, the seascape blur. And here, notice Eugen is exposing well to the right, as he should be. And I like this one, especially the breaking waves here. So this can be processed as a 2x3 right there. And then the next one, I like the wing position better, and we still have the waves. So both of these will be fine images when they're done. Taking flight in the inlet. And did I optimized this one. So I'm going to mention a couple of things. The old original Digital Basics, then Digital Basics 2, which is a PDF, then the Digital Basics 3 video series, and the Digital Basics 4 video series. I've done 2 volumes of that. We'll have a link below. So with this one of the tricks I used after I cropped was to use a mask in Adobe Camera Raw, as taught to me by Anita North, to lighten the face, and quite effective. More middleitis, but lots of pixels. And here's an example of going gold. Exposed to the right, the color is still there, and a beautiful great blue heron silhouette. And one still to be done. And on occasion, Eugen would put a card in my 600 with the 2X, and I'd make him do the composition, and he did beautifully with this one, with the great blue heron to the left, lots of room to see into the frame, and if something's worth including in the frame, like the rock, give it a border. Then another Eugen miracle with the 200 to 600 and the 1.4. I could have left the pelican on our right, but I decided to lose it. So quite stunning. An original, beautiful. I love the snaky S-curve, and I love the suffused green. Young reddish egret. The original, notice when you properly expose to the right, and it's cloudy, the stuff looks blue, but that goes away easily, and a nice crop. Nice job with the original image design, woodstock head. I love this for the two species together, snow egret and great egret. And a Forster's tern, when they come out of the water, they're gonna shake off the water and twist their heads. So two nice frames by Eugen. And then a little bit of a dorsal shot. Very nice. Eugen and more recently Misha have had the worst weather luck I've ever seen here. We've had torrential rains with high winds. We've had very few south or southeast winds. We've had wind against sun day after day. And we're praying for a break soon. So, yeah, this is an original. This is the raw. And that's going to be a beautiful picture. And these are the young birds with the little yellowish orange under the wing and the evenly patterned underwings. And when the birds are directly overhead, this is what you're going for. A complete flat look with both wings illuminated. And this one is perfect. And this will just get a nice crop from here to 2x3, maybe add a little canvas on the top. And another frame. So the lesson here is that of these two, A or B, I actually like A better because of this wing is better lit. It's raised, you can see it's raised a bit, even though this one's bigger in the frame. Then we had a cloudy day sanding. This will optimize nicely. You'll see why in a minute. Yeah, this is the next frame. And ideally, you put birds a little lower in the frame, but it made for a spectacular pano. And what I'm most proud of is how I took the great care to get rid of this bird. Whoops. Command Z. This bird had to be eliminated. So in the next frame, whoops, now we made a mess of things. Come back here. Z. I like the clean forward edge to the flock. And just a beautiful, beautiful picture. 33% Gaussian blur on the background. Nice soft light. Great blue heron in soft light. One thing Eugen's done well, he doesn't mind going to the high ISOs. This one is 25,600. Totally amazing. And yeah, you're going to lose a little fine feather detail, but I like the almost painterly look that you can get from these high ISO images. We know this bird well, and he has a habit of being a hibbit. Has a habit of burying one foot in the sand. And this one will be worth repairing. See, the shutter speed is 1/125th, and yet Eugen managed to hit the eye pretty sharp, and we can repair the toes. And all of the Photoshop work that you're seeing here this afternoon is covered in Digital Basics 2 and the 2 video series. This one will simply need a nice crop from here. And again, I will use that trick of masking the face and the neck, which is sort of in the shade, and opening that up in Adobe Camera Raw. Another one about to hit the water, a little crop for this one. Osprey emerging. Osprey in flight on a rare sunny day. Another pelican taking flight. Now here Eugen could have used a little more light, so I'll use that masking feature again. But the image is sharp enough, high ISO. And then this one is a beauty. I like this one better. And a little more light would have been great. Still exposed well to the right, and we'll be able to make a beautiful one, a beautiful TIFF out of this one. Here the pelican goes, but this is very, very sweet. And here, I don't know. I'm not a fan of the palm tree. So maybe do some extensive work on the background, but beautifully sharp. Coming out of the water, Eugen right on it from the start. Beautiful series. And of the three, this one, the third, had the best fish position. Here, just a beautiful look at the fish. Yellowfin menhaden, and then optimized to that, from there to there. Not much of a crop. And another one in the series. And nice, with beautiful job on the exposure, pushing it all the way to the right. And then the next frame, full frame original. And there's the optimized version. That's one of the ones I did this afternoon. Another in the series, and an even better one. Beautiful framing on the Pelican. And Eugen got this one. I had the long lens. This peregrine was right in front of us, so it's somewhat underexposed, but the magic of his great image files and Photoshop, and a pretty stunning picture of a peregrine falcon.
Yeah, that's nice.
More exposing to the right. Beautiful. Then a huge crop here. Look at that fish. That is Atlantic menhaden, not yellowfin. And then a little wing repair magic here. A young common tern. Maybe a little too blue still in the wings. Osprey with a fish. Head turned fractionally away, but not enough to get rid of it. This will lighten up beautifully, and I love the sharpness on the two eyes. And here is the processing, same bird. Raw file, you may say, look, this looks washed out, but you've seen all the magic already. Another beautiful one, a juvenile wood stork will process up nicely. And we do a lot of blurs in the morning. This is sort of a seascape. And the only thing I'd like to see would be a little slower shutter speed and a little camera movement. More crops. And somehow, I don't know how, we had this pretty muted moon in the clouds one early morning. And then Eugen made this, and I'd love to see some Halloween combination of these two. Haven't figured it out yet. And boy, oh boy, properly exposed to the right, looks like crap. And it's literally 2 minutes in Photoshop, a minute and a half. And this one, I hate the adult bird, but I'm going to do a crop if I live long enough from here. And and then expand canvas behind the right-hand bird. I'm going to mark this with a 6. Tell me I want to do that before Eugen goes home. And a little lesson on head angle. Bird facing away, yeah. Then the same bird, moments later, turns back to us. Much more engaging. And the A12, we had a nice rain puddle. And we got on this young laughing gull and some terns and a beautiful series. And then this one is the Miracle Award of the week. So we took this into Raw Digger and saw that the only thing that was overexposed was the fish. So image optimization magic, believe it or not. And I did a linear burn on the fish to tone it down a bit. Beautiful. Another moon shot. And again, looking for that flat wing position when the birds are directly overhead. And Eugen, again, exposing well to the right without toasting it. And there's the optimized image. Beautiful frame, great blue heron. A few takes on wood stork. Notice when he zooms in, what happens to the background. Just going from like 400 to 550 millimeters softens up the background. And then going for the face detail. And these two, I couldn't decide which. I think I like this one better now. And we look at the exposure, perfect. And this little piece of rock will go easily. Here is the raw file. This was on the North Jetty. We had some tame ibises with two little fleas on his head. And there's the optimized image. Beautiful job on head angle. And I like the square framing. More ospreys. Now Eugen got a cool series. Some guy was feeding the wood-storks in the parking lot, so we couldn't get lower because of a fence. I didn't get a single frame, and Eugen came up with this one, which is pretty neat. This one just needs to be brightened and take out some of the yellow. And this one, just beautiful. Overhead juvenile. And this, yeah, this one of my favorites. Oh, that may be your best shot of the trip, Eugen. More of the same. This one of a great blue needs to be lightened, and we'll make a low panoramic, sort of similar to the reddish egret oceanscape. And you go, almost. No, better than almost. And again, you see that 51 megapixels sharp, and you can do some amazing stuff with crops. Another sandwich turn. Eugen got this one when nobody else did, and just brightened. And little tiny, I don't know if I had to replace that wingtip on our left. I don't think so. It looks like it's in the frame. Same bird. More middle-itis disease. Saved by a crop. Another super high ISO. And then a ruddy turnstone taking a bath will look beautiful. And there's a little puddle at the west end of the park that we worked for a bit. Then we stopped on the bridge when there was no traffic coming, and the big crop. And one of the things I encourage Eugen to do is to use a longer focal length. Here he's at 397, and if I had gotten him to zoom in to 600, we could have gotten down to a really sweet. And then here he's done it, and this will just need a little softening of the background in beautiful golden light. Another crazy good woodstock morning. And this was an insane morning where we were shooting at ridiculous ISOs. It was in the dark. The birds were going crazy. Look at this one. Ah. Another thing you'll learn in Digital Basics 4 will be to use a gradient mask to darken up this light area behind the birds. Beautiful. And this one, where did you get this one, Eugen?
Under the bridge is he?
I know where you got it, but I'm saying it's a beautiful shot and sharp. And let's see. Only ISO 4000. That was low. That was when it was brightening up. And Eugen got the best of these. So I think there's two frames here. So ordinarily we'd say this is the best frame because the head's in the clear. But I like this one because it's sort of dark, the head perfectly placed against the wing. Of course, we don't see or plan any of this. You get the bird in focus and you blast it. Taking advantage of the gold reflections of the abutment. And here's another one. I wish I had time to do this one. I'll give this a 6. Try to do this one before Eugen goes home tomorrow. Properly exposed to the right will be beautiful. Oh, love that. Perfect wing position. Original to yellow, optimized. And again, more of getting the folks to keep shooting when the bird gets close, and you can come up with some crazy flight shots. That'll cop nicely. And it's another one of Eugen's best, the beautiful ruddy turnstile. We added a little canvas behind. Great blue heron, beautifully positioned in the frame. We had a nice sunset evening, and we did this from this. I moved the bird back to the left a bit. This one still needs to be processed. That'll go to a beautiful silhouette. This is right out of camera. I'm still trying to figure out what to do with it. Pan faster, haha. This will work nicely. This one I need to lighten the bird and a little less yellow from here. And another beautiful frame. And with a fish. Beautiful. Beautiful fish position. And that is a young sandwich tern. And that'll easily survive a nice crop. This one will work. Big exploding wave with the headland. This one will work. Add a little canvas behind, lose the great blue, mostly with a panel crop. And we had a nice bird, and I like the composition here. And this gives you another idea of what you can do in 1 minute in Photoshop. From here to here, by exposing to the right, and making your raw files look boring and washed out. And this one was a huge crop of a high ISO, but I love the wing position. This one is unprocessed. This one side lit. I stopped firing, and Eugen kept firing as it was going more and more sun angle, but with some wicked processing. We turned this into this. Quite lovely. And one of the advantages of joining an IPT is that I get to work on a bunch of your photographs. And I still have room at Sebastian. Misha goes home this coming Tuesday, and then I have like 12 or 14 days off till the next client. So give me a shout. Love this one, that angled pose with a nice little pano crop is going to be superb. And then Eugen got on this bird great, coming down, and then from this one, we made this one. But each of these will be, this one especially, it's another one I'm going to keep to optimize. Killer. Dive. Yeah, and this summarizes the last couple of weeks. Wind against sun, bird flying away. So this is 1X, pretty cool. And that's Eugen's osprey imitating peregrine falcon. And this one, Eugen went out of the box. We were doing single trees, and Eugen zoomed out. In this case, zooming out paid off. And another image optimization, juvenile laughing gull. A nice willet back in the frame, just where I love to see it. And oh my God, we are done. So Eugen, huge thanks for coming. And it's been a great couple of weeks, and we're going back to the Or restaurant. Is that the name?
Yes, or.
I keep wanting to call it the Oak. Anyway, thanks for joining us. See the links to, if you want to learn Photoshop, below. And if you want to join me in November, give me a shout. I'll put the email in along with the blog address. Have a great day. Love you all. Cheers.